fast food culture where you have been conditioned by the world. And I make no apologies to Mr. McDonald's for this, to say that when you're ready to eat, you expect somebody else to go out and raise the cow. You expect somebody else to go out and kill the cow. You expect somebody else to go out and butcher the cow. You expect somebody else to go out and process the cow. You expect somebody else to go out and grind up the cow. You expect somebody else to go out and cook the cow. You expect them to put that on in 2 minutes or less, put it on a bun and serve it to you hot and fresh. You have been conditioned to have somebody else do all the work for you. And it's carried over because I'm going to tell you the vast majority of Christians are still waiting for their pastor to go out and do the same thing with the Word of God.
That's right. And it's interesting that you see it in your email, that people are always complimenting you on the Bible bites that are 5-minute segments of this.
Yes.
And most people don't spend time to see the whole hour. They just see that small section.
And I have mixed emotions about that. I want to reach people with the Word as much as I possibly can. And what Mark is talking about, if you're not familiar with this, is every week we send out, every Saturday we send out a Bible bite, which is typically about 5 minutes long. It's just a little bite of the Bible. Just
segment.
And we get far, 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 far more people all around the world watching that Bible bite than watching this hour-long Bible study. That's because they're accustomed. They want it quick and they want it fast. They want it on video so they don't even have to concentrate, not have to read. Right? Hey, I understand that. But I will tell you that I did Bible studies 30 years ago. And our typical Bible study that we would do on a Friday night was 3 hours long.
Twice a week.
And we couldn't contain it because I started these when I was going to the seminary. We were having them in my house. And the room would be packed, filled with people who would sit there for 3 hours. And at the end of 3 hours, when we stopped and said, okay, it's over, you'd hear a groan. And we'd end the Bible study, so we'd start like at 7:30 or at 7:30. So we'd end at 10:30 at night. And then we'd have fellowship. As a rule, the last person would leave our house about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning because people were hungry for the Word. They would invest time, they would invest effort to learn the things of God. I don't see that today. I don't see it today. And you need to think about that. We all need to think about that. Because I'm going to tell you, we've all become so busy and we make excuses. Want to know about excuses? Go back and watch last week's Bible study. We need to invest in digging for those great, deep truths of God.
You need to prospect.
I was in Africa a while back, and I was preaching in Africa, and we were in Cameroon, West Africa, which borders on Nigeria. A lot of Nigerian pastors and bishops. And I was talking to a Nigerian bishop, and just in conversation, he said something to the effect that while Christianity in Nigeria is booming, as is Islam, by the way, he said, well, it's miles and miles wide and 1/4 of an inch deep. What he was saying, there's no depth to it. There's no depth. We need to have a deep, abiding, lasting relationship with the Lord through His Word. And you need to work at it. You need to work. You need to stop believing that somebody else is required to do the work for you.
That's right.
Now, you know, when you're a baby, I can live with that. Because babies, they don't have to go out and make the food. They don't have to cook the food. They don't have to catch the food. Somebody does it for them. And I think a real good example is birds. Because there is an instance of, you know, mommy doing the whole deal. Mommy goes out and she gets the worms and chews them all up, swallows them, digests them, comes home, opens the baby's mouth and throws up in the baby's mouth.
And they think it's wonderful.
And they think it's wonderful because they're getting the whole thing pre-digested. If you expect your pastor or your favorite teacher to do that for you, you're in serious trouble. It's time for you to be on the meat of the Word. That's what Paul wrote to the Corinthians. By this time, you should be on the solid meat.
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, a symbol of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross where the So I'll cherish the old rugged cross.